Welcome to the world of medieval transportation. In the Middle Ages, people used many fascinating ways to get from one place to another. From horse-drawn carts to majestic ships, these methods of travel played a vital role in the lives of knights, merchants, and peasants alike. Let's explore 15 of these remarkable transportation methods and discover how they worked, how people used them, and the benefits they offered. The horse-drawn cart was one of the most common forms of transportation in the Middle Ages. Farmers used these sturdy carts to carry goods to market, and families traveled in them for short journeys. The carts were typically made of wood with large wheels that could handle rough, unpaved roads. They were pulled by strong horses or oxen, making them an essential tool for daily life. Sailing ships were the lifeblood of medieval trade and exploration. These large vessels, powered by wind, could travel across seas and rivers, connecting distant lands. Merchants used them to transport valuable goods like spices, silk, and wine. Sailing ships had tall masts with wide sails, and they required skilled sailors to navigate through treacherous waters. Horseback riding was a swift and efficient way to travel in the Middle Ages, especially for knights and messengers. Horses were bred for speed and endurance, making long journeys across varied terrain possible. Whether delivering urgent messages or traveling to distant lands, horseback riding was a vital means of transportation that could save both time and lives. The ox-drawn plow was essential for farming in the Middle Ages. Strong oxen would pull the plow through the soil, preparing the land for planting crops. This method of transportation was crucial for food production, as it allowed farmers to cultivate large fields. The plow was typically made of wood with a metal blade that cut into the earth, making the process of farming more efficient. Covered wagons were used for long journeys, especially by traders and travelers. These wagons were designed with a wooden frame covered by a canvas top, providing protection from the elements. They were often pulled by horses or oxen and could carry both people and goods over long distances. The covered wagon was essential for those who needed to transport large loads safely. The sedan chair was a luxurious form of transportation used by the wealthy in medieval cities. It was a covered chair carried by 2 or more strong men, allowing the passenger to travel in comfort without walking. Sedan chairs were often elaborately decorated, reflecting the status of the person inside. They were especially popular in crowded urban areas where other forms of transportation were less practical. Next, the medieval age transportation. The palanquin was another form of carried transportation, similar to the sedan chair but more elaborate and often used for royalty or high-ranking officials. It was a covered litter, often with curtains or drapes for privacy, carried by several men. Palanquins were used in processions and ceremonial occasions, symbolizing the importance and prestige of the person inside. Barges were flat-bottomed boats used to transport goods and people along rivers and canals. They were particularly useful in regions where overland travel was difficult. Barges could carry heavy loads such as timber, grain, and stone, and were often pulled by horses walking along towpaths. This method of transportation was crucial for trade and commerce in the Middle Ages. Wagon trains were used by groups of travelers, such as merchants or pilgrims, to journey together for safety. A series of wagons would travel in a line, often through challenging terrain, to reach distant destinations. The wagons were usually covered and carried supplies, goods, and people. Traveling in a wagon train provided protection from bandits and the harsh elements. The sledges were used in snowy or icy regions for transporting goods and people. These simple vehicles had runners instead of wheels, allowing them to glide over snow and ice. Sledges were often pulled by horses or oxen, and they were crucial in areas where other forms of transportation were impossible during the winter months. The galleys were long, narrow ships powered by rowers and sometimes sails. They were used for both trade and warfare, especially in the Mediterranean. Galleys could navigate shallow waters and were highly maneuverable, making them ideal for coastal raids and naval battles. They were also used to transport goods and troops, playing a key role in medieval maritime activities. Pack animals, like mules and donkeys, were vital for transporting goods over rough terrain in the Middle Ages. These sturdy animals could carry heavy loads and navigate narrow mountain paths where carts and wagons could not go. Merchants and travelers relied on pack animals to transport everything from food to precious metals, making them indispensable in regions with challenging landscapes. Carriages were a luxurious form of transportation used by the nobility and wealthy merchants. These covered vehicles were often elaborately decorated and provided a comfortable way to travel over long distances. Carriages were usually pulled by teams of horses and offered protection from the elements, making them a preferred choice for those who could afford them. Rafts were simple, flat structures made of logs or planks, used to transport goods and people across rivers and lakes. They were often constructed on-site and could be dismantled after use. Rafts were especially useful in regions with many waterways, where they provided an easy and cost-effective way to move heavy or bulky items. Handcarts were small, two-wheeled vehicles pushed by a person used to transport goods within towns and cities. These carts were simple but effective, allowing merchants, craftsmen, and laborers to move their wares easily through crowded streets. Handcarts were a common sight in medieval markets, where they played a crucial role in the daily business of trade and commerce. And these 15 modes of transportation carried people, goods, and stories across the vast and varied landscapes of the medieval world. Each played a unique role, shaping the ways in which societies grew and interacted. From the mighty war horse to the humble handcart, transportation in the Middle Ages was a blend of ingenuity and necessity, driving the wheels of progress. If you enjoyed this journey through medieval transportation, be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us bring more fascinating stories from the medieval age to life. Thank you for watching, and we can't wait to see you in our next adventure.